and let us all do we can to build a better future.
So Daniel, my friend, remember when we were part of an organization to get money out of politics?
I do.
Yeah, well, turns out it's still running amok. I wonder what Fat Tony, Cenk Uygur, is going to say, because I want to pull up this video here of Beto O'Rourke, Bet on My Stork, where he had, basically had to return $1 million after failing to meet with Sam from FTX. So what am I talking about? Well, this was from Fox Business, of all places. But again, shout out to Case Study QB who caught this gem.
It's funny. If you want to learn about all the Democrats that took money from FTX, watch Fox News. If you want to learn about all the Republicans that took money from FTX, watch NBC. And if you don't want to look at anything specific or particular or interesting, go watch CNN.
But look at how much of a punk bitch Beto is. It's like, oh, thank you for the $1 million. Oh, I'm sorry I didn't meet you, Sam. Oh, here, take it back.
The amount of people on Wall Street that are like, this guy, I still like this guy. I think he's gonna go and do good things.
Yeah, and see, he's protected.
FTX founder Sam Bankman-Fried quietly purchased a major data firm over the summer. All right, Lauren, what's all this about?
Politics. So he reportedly bought DEC. It's a startup to provide Democratic campaigns with predictive analytics, voter targeting capabilities, etc. And he reportedly paid $5 million of his own money for the company. He donated, some $40 million to mostly Democratic campaigns for the midterms. He wanted to get that up to $1 billion by the election. So this was part of this purchase. But he told Axios that he had maybe $100,000 left in his bank account. That's it. Just $100,000. But that's more than a lot of people have left after what happened to them in the FTX collapse. And he blamed both personal failures and regulatory gaps for the FTX implosion.
Hey, Dan,
did
what's
she
up?
just insinuate?
He's only got $100K.
Did she just insinuate that all the big players, the big investments, are now bankrupt? Or is she talking about the regular person that invested? I don't think Fox News knows that regular people exist, so I'm going to go with my first guess.
Well, Dan, of course Fox News doesn't know regular people exist. Come on. You think they care about poor people? They only put on a facade during elections, and the rest of the time it's like, ugh, get away from me, you unwashed masses. That's how Fox News views the rest of the working class in America.
Yeah, 100,000 of other people's money. And Lauren, by the way, SBF donated to Beto O'Rourke's gubernatorial campaign. Did Beto return the money?
I give him so much credit. Absolutely. So they returned $1 million to SBF. Now this was 4 days before the midterms, Ash, but it was actually a week before SBF stepped down from the company, before the company collapsed. So it had nothing to do with the scandal because they didn't know about it at the time. This is the reasoning. Beto did not meet with SBF. When he has a big donor, he meets with them. He didn't.
See, that goes to my point that I said on the show. These politicians, they don't care about you, the constituent. And this is how they all are, Democrat and Republican. When the donor knocks on their door, they're going to push all you poor people out of the way and say, get out, get out. My real constituents coming in. And then they get on their knees and start slobbing the knob of their corporate donors. That's the real truth of it. If that offends people, too bad. Beto didn't meet with his donor. He had to give the money back because that's how weak all of these politicians are. Don't you get it?
But it's so weird that on Fox News, I think if I'm reading her tone right, she's basically saying the real issue, the real weak thing is that he didn't meet after receiving the money.
Yeah. And that's the truth of it, man. He didn't meet with the guy.
But it sounds like she's saying that like the issue isn't that he took $1 million, it's that he didn't do the meeting.
Yeah, I think that's the case. But then there's a lot more also to unpack here too, because again, this FTX scandal. When I was interviewing Whitney Webb, please check out that interview on our Rockfin channel, because if I were to put it on YouTube, I know for a fact we get a strike. Something would happen to us, right? And that's as much as I think I could say on this channel about that. But if you want to know really just how bad this FTX scandal is, check out my interview that I did with Whitney Webb. It's on our Rockfin channel. That's why I urge everyone, please be sure to subscribe and follow us on Rockfin as well. I also want to pull up this video here too, but go ahead, Dan. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, like Steve says it, I think, better than I did. It's like Fox News seems to be most upset that a quid pro quo wasn't reached. That seems to be their biggest concern.
I also want to play this video for all you hip, cool cats, because like I said, our politicians are cheap. They could be bought and sold. They don't care about you. Why? Because anybody with money, not just Russia, can buy our politicians. Don't believe me? Listen to this.
I donated to both parties. I donated about the same amount to both parties. It's not really known because despite using literally the profile Supreme Court case of the decade, that the everyone talks about when they talk about campaign finance, for some reason, in practice, no one can possibly fathom the idea that someone in practice actually gave dark. So, I don't know, all my Republican donations were dark. Either one of them. And the reason was not for regulatory reasons. It's because reporters freak the fuck out if you donate to Republicans. They're all super liberal and didn't want to have that fight. So I just made all the Republican ones dark. But I was, whatever, second or third biggest Republican donor this year as well. But also, it's all for the primaries. They didn't give anything in general elections. They don't give a shit about general elections. It's not what matters. Like, it's the primaries where you good candidates against bad candidates. I donated to both parties. I donated about the same.
So see, folks, it's like I said, these corporate donors, they buy them all. They buy all our politicians. They don't like you. They don't think about you. They don't respect you. I also want to play another video here too, where again, it should show you just how strong the reach of Citizens United is. It's just for all of you to see and understand firsthand.
I donated to both parties. I donated about the same amount to both parties this year.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. That's actually the same video repeat. Apologies for that, folks. Daniel, let's get your comments.
Yeah, so again, it's like I said, like Fox News is like, you know, the Democrats took money from FTX. Yeah, just the Democrats. Don't look any further into it. We didn't do anything like that. America is for sale. The problem is you need enough money to start up. Like if I had $100 million, it would be nearly impossible for me to lose it.
Mm-hmm.
It just would be nearly impossible. If I had $100,000, it could be lost quite easily. Even $250,000 can be lost. You just put it in a house, can't make the payments, whatever. You lose a job. But if you have $100 million, you have your own gravity. Money just comes to you based on the money growing more money. And again, that's the whole problem with the system. That's the corruption that pervades everything. And again, it's like, where is that money coming from? Where does this money go to get concentrated? It comes from the wars overseas and people our age. We're not, it's like, to quote Rules for Rulers, if you don't vote, then don't worry. I'm forgetting the exact quote, but effectively, we're the ones paying into Social Security. We're the one paying for all these wars. Because we don't vote. Because we don't vote, we don't matter. Except they tell us we do, and that they'll listen to us, but it's a joke.
And not only is it a joke, but again, I pull up this tweet here from, again, Case Study QB. Just want to pull it up here one more time. You know, Sam Bankman-Fried, he's still doing speaking arrangements. You know, he should be in jail. Now, the thing is, when I was interviewing Whitney Webb on our Rockfin channel, you could check it out. Again, I encourage anyone to check out that interview that I did with Whitney Webb. You know, we did compare this to this scam, this falling apart, this absolute collapse of FTX is almost on par with what we saw with Bernie Madoff. The only problem is, the reason why Bernie Madoff went to jail is because he robbed from the rich. He robbed from rich people. But hey, Sam Bankman gets to still hang out with people like Ben Affleck, you know, Jerry Cardindale, Shou Chu, all these wonderful people. He's CEO of TikTok. Look, Sam Bankman-Fried to speak at a New York Times deal book summit. So there you go. So the thing is, he's fine. He's above the law. The laws of the land do not apply to people like him. Money in politics has created an environment to where the absolute rich have all the power and the authority. Remember, when you elect these Democratic and Republican lawmakers into office, You know what they're doing most of the time with their money? Or you know what they're doing most of the time when they're in office? 90% of the time, 99% of the time, these politicians are on the phone calling their donors for more money so they could get ready to fill their campaign up to get ready for the next election cycle, so that once they get into office, they write legislation to benefit their donors, and they go right back to that little phone, pick up that phone, and make more calls to their donors begging for more money. So the cycle continues on and 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 on. You don't have a seat at the table, and no one in Washington, D.C. is going to stand up to the establishment. That's why we need to start building movements and organizations at the state level so that we can break away. Yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
If there's a ballot that we can do, public financing, give everyone like Illinois bucks for elections.
Yeah.
Because again,
exactly.
like the problem is if you're in Congress or anywhere right now, you make your money, your party makes its money from corporate donations. It's just kind of greases to have regular people do it as well. But if the amount of money people gave was higher than corporations, everything changes, because then they're actually going to focus on us. That's again, the individual sitting in the chair really doesn't matter. The chair and what the chair does to the people that sit in it is what actually matters.